Welcome to this week's What's for Dinner video. My name is Ashley. This video is in collaboration with Bethany over from Budget Bethany. She does What's for Dinner videos, grocery hauls, and more. So go ahead and check out her channel and her video. The link is in the description. The first dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made some butter chicken scampi. This was so delicious. I absolutely loved the sauce and I can't wait to make this again. So I'm starting out with my chicken. I have 2 chicken breasts that I'm going to butterfly in half and then chop the chicken up into some small chunks and cook them that way. Next time I think I'll just leave the chicken into kind of strip tenderloin form and then cook them that way. I am using 2 chicken breasts because the chicken is the main ingredient in this meal, so I want to make sure there's enough kind of meat in this dish. So next I'm going to lightly season the chicken. I will also season the flour when I put it on. So I'm just seasoning with some garlic powder, some onion powder, and some garlic salt. So next I'm going to sprinkle on some flour, just enough to coat the chicken and give it a nice spreading when I cook it in the butter. So to the flour I'm adding some Italian seasoning, some everything seasoning, some garlic salt, and I'm just going to toss that all together until all the chicken is coated. So I melted some butter in a pan and now I'm just going to toss the chicken in. I definitely shouldn't have dumped it like that because a lot of flour from the bottom of the bowl kind of fell in. But I'm just going to lay each chicken piece down on its side so it can start browning, and then I will just toss them around. At the same time, I have started cooking some angel hair noodles in some boiling water because the sauce doesn't take too long to cook, and then we will mix it all together. So once the chicken was done, I just removed it to a clean bowl, and now I'm going to work on the sauce. So I have the remainder of what was left from the chicken butter, and now I'm just adding in some minced garlic and then a little bit of red pepper flakes to give it a little bit of spice, and then I'm going to add in some chicken broth. I also add in some lemon juice. I'm going to just mix that around and stir it all together. Once that has become nice and hot and slightly reduced, I'm going to add in half a stick of butter and let that melt, and then let the sauce cook down just a little bit more before I add in the noodles. I love adding in dried parsley flakes to all of my dishes. I just think it adds a lot of elegance. So you don't want to wait till the sauce is totally evaporated, because once you stir in the noodles do absorb basically all of that sauce. So I am just going to toss that around until all the sauce is in the noodles. So again, I'm just going to add in a little bit more parsley flakes. I think this is like the adult version of the butter noodles. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just served it with a little side salad. This next dinner is called Cheesy Chipotle Enchiladas. I will have the video linked down below where I got this inspiration from. She is another cook on YouTube. So I just cooked 2.5 chicken breasts in my Instant Pot, and now I'm just going to shred them up. I do season the chicken when it goes in the Instant Pot. I just use like taco seasoning, cumin, garlic salt, and onion powder. I also do like to pour a little bit of the juice or chicken broth into the chicken as I shred it. It just helps soften it up. So next I'm just going to add a little bit of the juice from the chipotles in adobo, I guess the adobo sauce. I'm just going to toss that around with the chicken, and then I am going to cut up a couple chipotles and I will cook those into the sauce. I do also like to add in a little bit of sour cream to the mixture just to kind of make it a little bit more creamy. And then I add in a little bit of shredded cheese just to kind of beef up the mixture. So next we're going to work on the enchilada sauce. So I am going to melt half a stick of butter and I'm going to stir in a couple of the diced up chipotles and I'm just going to let that cook with it. So once that's been cooking for a little bit, I'm going to add in some garlic and kind of just get that browned up and fragrant, and then we will add in our chicken broth. Before the chicken broth, I'm actually going to add in a little bit of flour to help thicken up the sauce. So next I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of water and 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon powder, and I'm just going to stir this around until it becomes a little bit more thick. Next, I'm going to slowly add in my warmed milk. You want to make sure it is room temperature or warmed so it doesn't curdle. I've learned that many times. I don't have the exact measurements of how much I'm adding, just enough till I think it is going to be nice and thick. And then I'm also adding in a little bit of cream cheese and letting that melt down. Once that's nice and bubbly, I'm going to add in a handful of Monterey Jack cheese, cut the heat and let that kind of melt down, and then the sauce will be ready. So I'm going to spread a little bit of the sauce on the bottom. I made a huge mess doing that. And then I'm just going to roll my enchiladas like normal. I did soften my tortillas in the microwave, just dampened them a little bit and then warmed them up. Now I'm just going to roll these and place these seam side down in the sauce. I did make a lot of sauce, so if that's anything you take from this, there was a lot of sauce left over. So now I'm just going to spoon the mixture on top of the enchiladas. Make sure every part is nice and coated. That way it doesn't really burn or dry out. And then I will add some cheese on top. I baked this uncovered for about 20 to 25 minutes. This is how it came out. Definitely my favorite enchiladas by far. The last dinner I'm going to be showing you was definitely the comfort meal of the week. I just made some Italian breaded chicken with some mashed potatoes and green beans. So I'm just going to begin by chopping my potatoes into some cubes to boil. I just love the gold potatoes, so those are the potatoes that I use. I am placing them into this pot, but don't worry, I do rinse them off. So while the potatoes are cooking, I'm going to work on the chicken. So I did have just one chicken breast that I butterflied in half, and now I'm going to lightly season with all my same seasonings, my garlic powder, everything seasoning, onion powder, and I also did that to the panko. So I'm just going to skip the flour part. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I'm just doing this just to make this easier for me. I'm just going to do the egg wash and right into the panko. So before I cook the chicken, I'm going to just work on the potatoes because I want the chicken to be the most fresh when we eat. So I'm just going to stir the potatoes, add in some butter, add in some milk, some sour cream, salt, pepper, all of the things. And of course some garlic. We're almost done with the squeeze tube and then we will never see it again. So now for the chicken, I just melted a little bit of butter, and now I'm just going to place both chicken breasts down, cook them until they are nice and brown on the one side, and then I will flip them. That's how everything looked when it was done. I loved all of the meals this week. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video. Make sure you come back next week for another one.